Everybody, it's Patrick at the Pitch Deck. We're here with our top 8 quarterfinal match against the 2nd seed Bravo. We are 7th seed, and since he is the higher seed, it's kind of a weird matchup in where both are pros and cons. So I go first. He chooses for me to go first. So him going first can give on-demand dominate, which could be if he has the natural nuts of on-demand crippling crush, then it's just really bad damage. We can just pitch the 2 discard to the Kano and then draw back up again. Just in general, that's the kind of a thought process. If you have the choice, what do you choose? Go second or go first? I typically like to go second so I can get a lot of E-pot stuff going out, and I like to stack pretty fucking quick if I can. He is running AB3, so no AB1 race, I guess you could say, because we kind of did that. So here we go with the Tome and Gaze pitched. So it's nice, a bit of a setup there, and I think a D-React in hand. So we go with the Nourishing. I know he's just going to block chest and 1 card and then take 1, which is fine.
So my last RTN I had like a ton of CR players. So I expected more here.
So he takes it. Then we draw back up.
It's probably like 5, 4 or 5. Did you bubble out? I'm not sure what the tag is. I know coming in today I was
So I'm still counting a little bit. I'm still making sure that I have my count, because we could stack. We got to just keep that in mind that we are. If we see an opening, we'll just grab at it if we have a D-pod and a couple energy pods, but that's our lines that we want to do is to keep our. We have a Spate in hand and then a Sink below in Arsenal, I think. That Sink sits in Arsenal for quite some time. We'll just have the top ready at least. So we'll make a surge and then hit for 6. I think we see a lot of our D-Reacts at the beginning of the match, which is good because if we do need to pop off, we're not going to have trouble like the first game in round 1 where we brick and whiff off the top with Kano and seeing a Sink. So this Sink we rip. I think there was the next one that we have, it just sits in for like 5 or 6 turns. Usually I like to keep my arsenal clear if it isn't a Bait for Scene, Sink below, or Toma Find Owl. And there's some new shenanigans where it would be Oasis in the new list. It's worth trying, so I'm going to try that out and see if it's worth it for pitch stacking matchups. Kano here, see a Spindle. Come in for 5, 2 cards.
Yeah. What'd you pull? Yes.
I will pay 3. No cell phones involved. Take 2.
Taking 2, which is generally what you want because it helps with the wide turns that Bravo can present. I think we just do that. We have a spare blue. I think this is a pot. That's 1 pot in hand.
Nothing for that for me.
Okay. Can't you get some of them at like prize balls and stuff too? Like
Mostly tokens. I picked up this. Make a new surge.
Right.
Yep.
coming in for 6? Probably just a whole bunch of blues. Not much really going on.
When you pick it up, the
Or worthy targets for Le Pummel.
Alright, so what's the turn order?
So here we just block.
No reactions here.
Sync. We want to make sure to blast through our items a little bit more.
Move to end. Green's good. Arsenal and pass. Tunic is going to be 3 on my turn.
And I am going to spice it. Yep.
We have just coming in for 4. That way we can poke a little bit.
Point. Correct. Nothing in my hand. No nothing.
42.
Pay 3. Take 1. Pass on tutor.
We'll pass on tutor.
You're gonna go. My turn. Yep. Surge pops. Nothing for me. Alright. Let's. Oh, what you like? There. Come in with a
We have zealous belting.
with go again.
Always good to block this and just take 2. And then if it's the hammer, we'll just double block. Have 1 card, maybe try to get a pot.
I will break the chain.
Got 1 spare. Gonna make the surge token and then
Swing 6.
play. So these lines aren't usually too bad, but if they're backed up with more go wide turns, because it could be zealous. E-strike go again plus the hammer, so that is all possible, but they get rid of their arsenal.
No blocks. No effects here.
Pitch stacks.
And now we've seen 3 D-Reacts. I want to say that 4th one is in the arsenal.
I'll move to end. Yeah, you're good. Alright. Pass it.
All good?
Kano. Action. Pass to you.
We see 3 pots so far, which is nice to get those pots out very fast, because sometimes windows of opportunity can just present themselves. So we have Crippling Crush. Not making the surge was interesting. Which should have been a telltale sign that I'm gonna get pummeled, and I think I read into it.
I will throw a pummel.
Because it would have been like 1 extra, and he has a 2nd pummel in arsenal.
Alright, I'll move to end. You're in good. Alright. Pass to you. Okay, nope. Keep it on top.
So we see if Wildfire.
Activate Bravo.
We do Bravo.
In reactions, I'm running numbers.
Spinal.
So he drew into the next pummel as well. So it's back to back pummel, spinal crushes. Because it had pummel in arsenal, and then the one that he had in hand was the spinal crush that now comes out of arsenal. So now this one is unfortunate circumstance because this one's dominated. I can only give up one card. I think it was like Spindle, Helm of Aetherwind, a blue, and then Wildfire. So now we're going to take 10 over 3. Our 3 block. So now that's why I'm like looking at my hand. Do I want to like throw everything at this? So I think with this, I have red. Kano as an option. Pitch or pitch the Wildfire for the Crucible, or sorry, for the Spindle, and then use the Tunic as well to pay for it. We can just toss the Spindle into the graveyard, play the Tome on our turn, gaining 2 cards, and then going for maybe double blue and then go from there. But here I think we take a more slightly greedy play, I think. Because now we are going for a lower life total, and we do have nice pots out.
That's fine. I won't do anything.
So nothing before it. It's taking 4 to the 9. I'm blocking 3, so
And then you have to discard. Yeah, discard.
toss that away.
Pass it to you.
So yeah, we take 10. We say Spindle. Because he is stripped, I think that's why I try to find something here. So it'll be a less impactful turn for my opponent. Because he doesn't have an arsenal and he can't go a bit wide, and we can just double block whatever is in an arsenal, maybe go with a Kano activation. We opt that away. Put that on the bottom. We do a Zealous, which is coming in for 2, which means it is going to be a wider turn. It's just he will no longer have an arsenal at that point, which is, I guess, trying to close out the game as quick as possible and or run me out of cards. We run our triple block here. So it's just a red flare.
And then come in for another 6.
Block 6.
Pass to you. 2 will go to 1.
All we have is Wildfire and Arsenal, and we just pass back.
Surge pops. Yep. Activate Bravo.
Let's double check in my graveyard.
Or my graveyard.
As we see Wildfire, Helm of Aetherwind, blue. So we have 2 Wildfires, so I want to make sure that if we do anything, it's going to be not too crazy. So I think this is a blue disable. I'm not mistaken. I don't particularly think they run Arsenal Disruption when it comes to red for basic Bravo. So this is something that we consider because this is a window of opportunity that we can try and grab some type of disruption. Or kill. I think this is just basically a kill. I'm thinking double Wildfire. Because we have 2 E-Pots and then maybe just a red cost. And then if we do double Wildfire, full Monty, it goes up to 3. And then if we have the resources for the second Wildfire with the node, it'd go up to 8 because 3 plus the 4 is 7 plus another one is 8. So if we did that, that would make the 0 cost coming in for 1 plus 11. So it's not there because I think he was in like low 30s. It had to been like, it'd have to be a blazing off the top. But we happen to have a bit of camera problems here with our SD card, and just before that it gets really nice, we don't see the full combo, so go ahead and take it away, other Patrick. Hey everybody, sorry for the unfortunate cutoff. My GoPro was full on the SD, and I couldn't actually get the rest of the turn, because that was the last turn when Bravo did the disable at if it was a different card, I don't think I would have gone off then, maybe. But it was disable, and there was a wildfire in arsenal and then a wildfire in hand. So basically the combo was Tome, blue, wildfire, and then basically have those 2 Kano activations on the stack, D-pot with 2 E-pots, no tunic because it was at 1. So basically it was, if I can remember correctly, because I don't slightly remember, I had grabbed a spindle off the top, and I was able to do wildfire for the full 6 because he pitches a blue, and that was the only card that was left in his hand, was a blue. Basically we get wildfire down to 3, and maybe I have 3 tomes this turn because there's a picture right here, as we can see the full combo at the very end, because I took the picture just to see, because it's actually kind of a cool combo, like how the came out to be. But it's nice that I have a picture just so I can walk through the process of what I did, maybe, because I can slightly remember. I don't remember the middle, how I got the spindle, but there's 6 blues in my pitch. I have 2 from my hand, and I think I got 2 from Tome of Findow, and then we had some pots, so some E-pots put into play as well. So I want to say there's 3 because I didn't check my graveyard after that. So I know that when we played the spindle for 8, we were tapped out of resources basically, and we had those 4 E-pots left, or 2 E-pots left for 4 resources. So with the E-pots we were able to I was thinking on that last resource with my blues that were in hand, if I should Metacarpus or not for the spindle, I think. And when that spindle, the extra resource actually was nice enough to be able to get 8 cards off the top because he had nothing left floating. So I was able to find Tome and Red Flare, and then 6 blues. So the 6 blues, I was able to force the Tome of Findow plus the 2 blues that I would draw off of that, and pop all the E-pots, and then Kano, and then 1 floating, and then the Tome of Findow. So I could have done Flare in because of the Ether Wildfire and the Arsenal, but I had not seen my 2nd and 3rd Blazings within that game. I've only seen 1 because I want to say I pitched 1, or at least blocked with 1, but I haven't seen any within that stack as well as within recent memory. So I knew I was coming up on my next Blazing, so I kind of chanced it just a little bit. So I went with the blind Kano, and then I see the Blazing off the top. So I was like, yep, that's an Elikoff, and I have 1 more blue. I can just pop boots, and then normal wildfire gets pumped by 3 with the wildfire that was before. So that goes up to 7. And then the Blazing comes in for, I want to say 36, if my math is correct. Or we had Blazing coming in for 8. Or the spindle coming in for 8, the wildfire coming in for 3. And pretty much it was just dead at that point. I could do the math, but currently I don't want to waste too much time. But that was the combo, and we get there. It was a little weird on the resources, and I would like to know why I didn't pump the spindle even more with the 2nd wildfire, because that should have been my first guess to do that, because you only need 1 pump, because I went the full Monty. Having only 1 card, no floating resources, mean he didn't have to Oasis. So he just basically full pump 1, and then you don't have to pump the other one as well. So that's kind of why I was curious on that one. So we get there. We weren't gonna die off the disable because we had enough of a life buffer, but it kind of made me think if I should pop off this D-pot because of the double wildfire line that could go through. There was the life total thinking through, so I think that was the correct play. in terms of best and more efficient. So for our top 4, I was not able to quickly do the editing of my GoPro to allow me to cover the match itself. So it was kind of not a great match because evidently I did lose, but it wasn't close by any means in terms of life total. It was like 40. Didn't even reach past 40 because I want to say the Oldham, which he found 2 or at least 2, maybe not 3 Sigil of Solaces. He did run Oasis and sat on the Oasis for the rest of the match, which is fine. But because I had like triple Wildfire, but there was no tomes to back up the triple Blazing. That was like, I want to say somewhere in the 8 card difference range where it was Blazing Blue, Blazing, because I knew that I had kind of stacked it that way a little bit. But the beginning stack was basically just 1 Wildfire, and then that was my key marker, and then I'm finding that when I was able to come back around. So with the triple Wildfire, we just didn't have the resources because it was kind of awkward having 2 Wildfires and 2 blues, but no tomes to help out the blue buffer. And I think we had the full suite of all pots because we had reached our pitch stack at that point. And of course D-pot because we can just put those back on top with Arcane Node activations. But he able to Oasis, I think the first one come in for 5. I didn't pump it with staff. I just do nodes, and even then the Oasis, he had like 1 or 2 floating, plus the tunic, and then the Oasis in Arsenal. So a dog's having a sneeze attack over there. Sorry about that. But when that match, I think, was also another outlining factor, is because there was like kind of like magic side of the store and then the flesh and blood side of the store where they were done with our general tournament. So when the general tournament was finished, we only had the top 8, and then the magic people started coming in at their time on the Saturdays. I think they do EDH or Commander. So it was just a whole bunch of people, and then just one particular group or table. They were just extremely loud, and I had to tell the store owner basically, hey, can you let them know, you know, they're getting too loud. And he had to do it twice to them. That's how loud they were and inconsistent. They didn't care about it, but it was kind of making me lose my pitch number and sort of like I'm not really focused that much. So that plus a mental fatigue of pitch stacking pretty much all day because of how many pitch stack matches that I had to do. Out of the 6 that I did, because there was 5 and then 7, so 7 altogether. So the 2 top 8s or top matches, because I did play top 4 but still lost. Out of those 7, I played 5 pitch stacking matches, so my brain was kind of pretty much fried at that point. I tried my best during that, but it wasn't enough. But it was enough to get me to not enough to win, but enough to get the nationals. So we get the qualification there. So I'm going to try to have to practice some Monarch draft. I'm not great with draft at all, nor do I really care too much about limited format in just the general sense. I like CC and then somewhat of Blitz, but the sealed and draft formats I'm not the biggest fan of. I just don't know what it is, but you know, with the national championship, we'll have to learn a little bit. Maybe we'll like it when it comes to Monarch draft. So we got to try with that. So hopefully you guys liked the videos. I will try to do some more videos for Armory so that way I can learn and post some more content as well. Catch my mistakes, I guess, maybe. We did actually get our we got our action point coin today from Metal Fab tokens. So it came in today, so I won't try to mess up at all with this. Hopefully, if we can keep track of those. With this match, you actually hear me say for my action. I'm not sure exactly why, but I think maybe subconsciously I wanted to make sure that I didn't mess up in the top 8. But hopefully you guys found it entertaining. Let me know what you guys think for any other matches down the line for reviewing our content if you guys want to see a particular matchup. And I'll try to get that on the channel for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.